Hey YouTube, coming at you with a Great League Remix team, but this is not about the team itself. This is actually a lesson on how overthinking can actually kill you, and that's exactly what this team is. So I said in my first video, you either go meta or you go anti-meta, right? So everyone went meta, Skarmy Poliwrath. So then a lot of people went anti-meta with Charjabug, like I started with. So then people went anti-meta with Skeledirge. So I was just like, okay, how can I beat Allier? I was going nuts. I'm like, okay, Jellicent's a nice answer because Jellicent could deal with Skeledirge and it could deal with Poliwrath and it could deal with Skarmory. But it's like weak to grass, so I got to put in Gligar. And then I'm like, oh, Aurorus is cool because Aurorus has got that like rock, and then I'm gonna put it in. So put it in. I feel like I ended up having like 8 battles here, but after like 4 battles, I realized like this team sucks. Your Aurorus you're double weak to Skarmory, like really bad, because Aurorus takes double super effective from the Steel Wings, and then Gligar can't throw anything. So you're gonna see a bunch of losses against Skarmories. You're double weak to Grass, not a ton of Grass, but I saw a couple. So Aurorus, Jellicent, double weak to Grass. Yes, you hit Powder Snow for super effective against the Grass itself, but I think I ran into like a Ferrothorn on one of the teams, and it's just like, okay, that sucks. And then, yeah, like Poliwrath is okay, but like it was shields down, Gligar is going to get one shot by the Poliwrath. So let's just go with the battles. Don't worry about the team and the overall too much. But basically, my lesson for this video is going to be when you start getting in your own head about team building and you start going like off the board picks or like Pokemon that you're not used to using, you're more likely than not to do bad, because you're grasping at straws for team building. You're grasping at Pokemon that you've never used, so there's like a learning curve on how to like go with. I'm using Bubble here, but I switch it to Hex in the next one. I just forgot that Bubble was on it. Yeah, so like you don't know how to use some of these Pokemon that if you like, again, I know how to use Jellicent, but I don't know how to use it more in the Ultra League than I do in the Great League. I don't know all of its matchups in the Great League. Aurorus, I know every time I use Aurorus, I say I hate it. Like if you go watch my past videos, I say every time I use Aurorus, I hate using it. It's the exact same thing too. Double weak to Steel with Skarmory, double weak to Fighting, counter Poliwrath, have nothing to throw at Steels, and it's just like, between those three, it's just like, why am I using this Pokemon? It's in the top 20 ranked of PV pokes. Well, like, you're like, oh yeah, I should use it. But then like again, it doesn't work in the ending. So that was my frustration with this. Bunch of losses here. I lost a bunch of rating, but I thought that it's actually worth talking about team building. For me, the team build, how I've always team built, and if you go back to some of my top elo graining teams, I always use two things. One, I use Pokemon I'm comfortable with, and two, I use Pokemon that are just generally either safe or very, very strong against certain meta Pokemon. So if you look at some of my top teams, so in the past, before this season, where Poliwrath is everywhere, but before this season, I used Swampert because Swampert only has one weakness in grass. I mean, like stuff like Dragon resists, and it's going to have some problems against like other water types, right? But for the most part, like grass is your only weakness against the main meta of like Medi, Lickitung, Gligar, even Noctowl if you had the Shadow Wood 2 Hydro Cannon. Like it just was super, super strong. Lickitung I abuse as a safe swap. Sableye I've abused as a safe swap. Just knowing that like these are XL Pokemon, I'm comfortable using them in the matchups. I know how to run with them. I know their strengths and weaknesses, and stuff like that. So you'll see like a bunch of my like go fallback teams were always like Swampert, Sableye, and a third, just because I knew how to play them and I knew how to play them comfortably. And that's the thing. And one of the things, I'm gonna make a short like sometime this week as like not a joke, but the thing is like, you should never, not ever copy. Don't unsubscribe. No, you should never like blindly follow a content creator when they post a team. And there's two reasons. One is honestly, sometimes our teams aren't good. Sometimes our teams are really good. Like um, my legend team for Ultra League that I hit with the Ultra League legend team like 4 or 5 seasons, no, probably like 6 or 7 seasons ago now, was at the time Pidgeot, Jellicent, Swampert. And that was my team that I created. And then I modified it to Dragonite, Jellicent, Swampert. And that combo there has been dominating wins for like 7 or 8 seasons now. It's just been like super strong no matter what. So that was a good team I put together. There's other teams that you do go like 12-3 with, like meta Pokemon that just go 12-3, which are nice. Like some teams do like that, but there's some teams we put out where it's like, oh, look, this Pokemon, it's good. It's like, yeah, it is, but like the team overall like has some flaws, stuff like that, but you still showcase like the wins. And I know a lot of content creators do this. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is you will never know how to play the team as well as I will know how to play it because I put it together. So I know the lead matchups that I need to stay in versus leave. I know what each Pokemon's role is. I know, etc. One of the comments I always laugh at is, so I'll put out a team and someone will say, I don't have Gligar, what can I use instead? Well, if you don't understand Gligar's role on the team and what it does, and you don't know a replacement for it, then you don't know how the team works, right? So that's the first thing that I always just like, you can't just willingly follow a team if you don't understand how to use it. And then the second thing is comfort. Like I use, like I don't want to use Togedemaru, Ninetales and stuff like that because like those are sort of like my niche picks that I'm extremely strong using. But like there are Pokemon that I'm just so comfortable using, and so I just named two of them: Kanto, Ninetales, Togedemaru. Those are ones more off board, but like Sableye, Swampert, Lickitung, Gligar now at this point of this season because I've used it so many times. I think those are probably the main 6 that I'm just like, I am super comfortable using these 6 Pokemon. So when I put 2 or 3 on a team, even if the team is good, even if the team is like, yes, this team is objectively a really, really strong team. If you play with this team, you will do well with it. You're probably still not doing as well as me, right? Because I know how the team works and the ins and outs and everything. So don't just like blindly follow a content creator. I hate when people do that and then they either like don't do well with the team, stuff like that. Like what I'm trying to teach on this channel is what are the strengths and weaknesses of each Pokemon. If you're gonna use, if you're gonna team build, what are the different ways of team building? I had a whole team. Maybe I should update that series, but I have a whole team building series that goes over like how to run like balanced teams, how to run ABB style teams, how to run like if you're gonna use multiple save swaps, how to run if you're gonna use like a glass cannon. So there's all these different types of teams that you can build. You just need to like 1, learn how to build them yourself, and 2, with that knowledge of how to build a team, figure out which Pokemon you're comfortable with that also fit the bill of being able to be used in that team. So this is like just a team building thing. Because again, this team is not good. Tomorrow, you will see, I did 4 games with it. I had 4 games left today, and I went 3-1 with the team that basically fits the bill of how I should team build and Pokemon I'm comfortable with. And I went 3-1 with it. And I'm sure tomorrow morning I'm going to dominate with it, and then I'll showcase it tomorrow afternoon. I mean, not tomorrow afternoon. I'll showcase it tomorrow morning. I'm going to do the battles. When you're watching this video, I am doing the battles with this team, and I will showcase this team tomorrow, essentially. Yeah, and then you're going to look at the team tomorrow and be like, oh yeah, this team makes sense. This is a very Dan team that is very dominant. Like, so yeah, I don't know when I said it. I said a joke like 10 or 12 years ago to my grad school friends. Don't think, just do. And that's kind of true here. It's like when I say don't think, just do, it's basically like don't try and like overthink everything, and don't try and beat yourself up trying to outsmart everyone else. right? Don't try and outsmart everyone else. Just play your game. Play with the Pokemon you're comfortable with. Play with your teams you're comfortable with. Yes, the meta changes. Yes, the meta is a bit different here, but is it a bit different here, right? Just think about it. Like we're racking our brain trying to think about how to unique picks and go off the board and stuff like that. There's 20 Pokemon banned, but the main meta Pokemon of Charjabug, Poliwrath, Skarmory, Skeledirge to a certain extent, Gligar, like they're all still here. So it's not a ton of difference in this meta. Sure, there's certain, like, there's more fairies banned, so maybe you're seeing a bit more dragons, but I said there's going to be more dragons anyways in the Open Great League, and that's been holding true so far. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't think that there's, I think that like overthinking team building is like, is a bad thing. You definitely need to consider team building and how to do it properly. And you need to understand the ins and outs of Pokemons and how you use them. But I don't think that like going crazy about trying to get this like ultimate team build for this certain meta. I'm going anti-meta. I'm going like meta, anti-meta, or anti-meta. It's just like, I think you almost like get yourself into trouble doing that. So try not to get yourself in trouble doing that. Anyways, that is it. How much more do we have left in these battles? 5 minutes. Holy smokes. Okay, well, if we got 5 minutes left, this is 11 minutes in the video. Okay, let's talk about community day. So yesterday was community day. I played at home on Incense, and I have 2 stops beside my house. And so I played Incense and those 2 stops for 2 hours. And then I went and I grinded for about half an hour at the ending. So pros and cons of the day. I still caught like 300 plus Pokemon, and I got 2 shinies. And again, I don't care about shinies, but I was just like, this feels like 2018, 2019. So for those of you who are recent to the game, community days were 3 hours, back then too, 11 till 2 actually. And if you grinded, I remember grinding for 3 hours hard during those community days, and you would get, if you're lucky, 2 to 3 shinies, in like 300, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of catches, like 2 to 3 shinies if you were lucky. And then I think it was during COVID or something. I don't know when they just flicked the switch on community Pokemon, but now it's like if you don't get like 50 over an hour, just like, whoa, did they forget to turn this thing on? Because they just like were giving them out like 1 in every like 5, it seemed. Not today. I don't know if I just got RNG'd or what. I got 2 out of like 300 plus catches. So I was like, that's weird. Don't care a lot, but it's just like, interesting. But the dust, oh my goodness. I had 100 research stack task. Plus I had a page of the GBL dust for like page 2 that I haven't claimed yet. Plus just catching the Rowlets. I was up 350,000 dust despite like just sitting at home for 2 hours of the community day. So like I love 3 times dust. They're the most important. I remember in Poke Daxi's Discord, one of the questions was, this is before XL Candy was a thing, would you rather have unlimited rare candy or unlimited dust? And at the time I said unlimited rare candy. God, how I was wrong. Dust is what you need. I have probably like 15 to 20 Pokemon that I would actually like to build for raids, but I can't build them because to me it just doesn't. Again, I have a lot of dust now. I do have 15.3 million, so you're just like, why can't you build them? But to build like, to XL and build like 10 to 15 Pokemon runs you like 5 million dust. It's just such an investment to invest in all these things. And that's why I caught a hundo. Actually, it's not bagged, but it's like still a hundo Rowlet or Decidueye. I need to look at it. First of all, maybe if you've made it this far, Is Decidueye a good raid attacker? Because I have a hundo. Is it a good grass attacker? I know I have what's Cartana? The grass. I have a hundo of those. I don't have the excels for it, but I've got a hundo for those. So I know that's like the best grass attacker. I just want to know what the other best grass attacker is. To see if it's worth powering up. But still, the power up is still like 400,000 plus. And it's just such a big investment for, which I guess makes sense, but I don't rate a ton. And thank you all for those of you who I'm always sending online online raid invites to if I see you online, if you're on my friends list. I mean, don't feel obligated to join, but if you want to join, it's always appreciated. The raid bosses have been pretty easy recently, I find. They haven't, like, we have Buzzwole, which is like double weak to flying right now. And then we had, what was the last one? There was like a lot of the double weak to ice, double weak to fire, double weak to flying now, or like at least single to fighting. It just seems like if you have like a few accounts, then you're like fine. Although downtown Ottawa is tough to actually find these people right now. It's so sad. Anyways, I think I have talked enough about that. Yeah, battles are done. So that's basically it. Do some sort of random short this afternoon. I'll do that. Do a 1 minute version of short of stop copying my teams. Run your own short. And then yeah, we're probably just gonna do just Great League Remix all week. We'll see what everyone's interested in. I gotta imagine most people are probably interested in Great League over Ultra League right now. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.